Greetings, Blacklight. The name of this video is I See. Looking for originals who see with our eyes. These are brothers with inner visions, imagination. Now, a lot of brothers thought they had the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad down. But if they did, the nation would never had failed to this point where it's at now. And you got to remember this: the government, they're not dummies. You know, they have scientists on specializing in every area that there is. Psychological profiling. And when you go to jail and get brothers out to jail who are the real warriors, but there need to be reprogrammed or reconditioned. Well, the government, you know, they be putting plants in the prisons. And some brothers have that kind of personality where they rise to the top. You know, they know how to... Well, you don't want agents to get to the top levels so you can influence others that's within the nation. And when the messenger sent brothers, his own sons, overseas to get educated, no telling who they get approached by. And they don't, you know, respect their father, because they was born in America. In America, you get conditioned and influenced by your peers, especially when you're young. And in America, the children kind of naturally rebel against their parents anyway. They're programmed by TV, radio, whatever they could get their hands on to read their program. This is what you call white supremacy, because your schools are built on white supremacy, the textbooks, the teachers' training, the religious sector, and even in Islam and in the Nation of Islam. Because why? See that dollar? When I hear a whole lot of brothers talk about, well, I was with the economic part. Brother Bell's Chesdeck, you know, he's a wise brother, he's doing good. He's got money, but he don't know that the money is weaponized against him. He got a lot of wisdom, street knowledge. And most brothers, now one time he was talking about Malcolm, and he was saying that he was talking about women. See, Malcolm lost his cool with a certain female, but I'm not getting into that. I'm getting into the psychological aspect of what he was schooling this young brother on. He said most people, if you're a street brother, you know what women are dealing with. And he named money as one aspect, because they're looking for security, and they're not loyal. You know, because, you know, I was raised up by pimps and players. And these brothers, they had a psychology over women. But they were in a circle of gamers. And they know how to psychoanalyze and deal with women. They could turn women out. Because in America, most women are looking for security, and that lies within that dollar bill. Well, whose name on that? Whose pictures on that dollar bill? The white man. So a woman, she ain't really choosing you anyway. She choosing materialistical things for security, especially that dollar, that fake ass dollar. You know, and it's a whole lot of pimps that got their woman snatched from them. You know, I know a few myself. You know, so the real thing you got to do is educate your woman on not to rely on that dollar bill. That ain't the real. That ain't the real richness. That's not the real wealth. The real wealth is in your mind. You know, the real wealth. You know, and the enemy uses the woman, our women, against us. He weaponizes our women because she the one that's got to nurse the babies. She don't. If she want a strong man, when she have a male son, she could condition her son or groom her son to be a king or a god. God is stronger than a king. You know. She could start conditioning him to be a god. Now my mother, which I know I was blessed on this because when my mother was pregnant with me, she had a brother that was an older brother that was in the Nation of Islam who knew Malcolm. And my mother knew Malcolm. She worked side by side with Malcolm. And she used to tell me, you know, how Malcolm was, the comments he used to make. And I got a picture of how Malcolm was, but him and my uncle was tight. And she used to tell me about the brothers in the nation, whatever. Them brothers was immature. They couldn't handle the teachings of Elijah. And they put on a good facade like they were down with the messenger, but they really wasn't. They were down for themselves, and they seen a whole bunch of money. The way the messenger was building it up as an alternative, separate nation, a nation within a nation, economy. Eventually, the messenger would have had his own money. Just like the Confederate soldiers had their own money. You know, James Brown had his own money. He had James Brown food stamps with his picture on it. So you can get your own currency long as you got someone to circulate your money among and use they money over the dollar. See, that's what the fight about now. The currency. Many countries are not choosing to use the United States currency. They got their own currency. Gaddafi had his own, wanted to have his own currency. Well, see, they couldn't let the nation get to that point where they had their own currency, they had their own banks, they had their own everything else. Pretty soon they would have had their own broadcasting system. Pretty soon they would have had their own movie production, their own recording outlets, and by them dealing with other countries like Peru for their fish, they would have dealt with other countries for everything else. And everyone knows that the black man here in America has influenced the youth through hip hop and other black invented music and cultures, whatever they had, all over the planet. You see Chinese acting like brothers. You see white people acting like our young originals. You see No matter where you go, Switzerland, you could go to Germany, you see them rapping, and rapping took over the whole planet. You know what I'm saying? Come from the minds of black people. So once you get your woman to understand that that dollar is weaponized against her, and everybody else, then that's where your real power at. Other than that, a black man here without his queen will never have any real power. So once you can put that in your woman's mind, that the real power comes from the mind and the womb of the woman. See, so when I was in my mother's stomach, she went to the temple meetings while I was in her stomach, and I was hearing this. So I was raised up until maybe about 6 or 7 in the teachings, and then after she left the temple, my uncle seen something in me where when he used to babysit me, he would teach me. He showed me all his books he had that he got from overseas and around the world in his basement. He was schooling me out his books. Like he had a book about how to make pig, swine out of cat, rat, and dog. A whole lot of little science books. So I got a different perspective because I was in the temple when I was a baby, and then I was in the streets when I was young. This is Black Light.